I joined this church in 1997 when I was still in high school. I was a very, very young girl. I was introduced to this church by a friend who just happened to go there, and as a young person, I've been a religious person and I love going to church. So I went there just out of excitement. So and I've been in that church. I stayed there until I completed my high school and until I went to university and I grew up to be an adult. So as I've been in that church, when I joined that church, everything seems right. What exactly drove me to this church was the way the singing was done, which wasn't done in my old traditional church. So I could feel as a young person that I'm welcome, I could be myself. So I felt like, yes, this is the church I wanted to be. So I stayed in this church. But as time went on, I've grown to be an adult. I also started reading the Bible on my own. So I started seeing things that were not really biblical. One of the things that really I've gotten to learn and I was in disagreement with is the way the church collects money. I know God wants us to be giving offering and tithe, but then in this specific church, when we started, tithe was you give tithe according to what you have. When I was a student, tithe was like, okay, you give whatever you have as a $1 or whatever. But when I started working, I've discovered that tithe, it wasn't just as you wanted. It started off as the pastor who insists that you should give the tithe, which I didn't have a problem with that because I felt it's biblical. But what I had a problem with later on is when it came to a point of the pastor calling you from your house to give the money. And when you are giving the money, you are told you must write your name on the envelope and the pastor should see your record. So if this month you give a certain amount of money, like a bigger amount, and the next month you give a smaller amount, the pastor will come and ask you what is happening. It wasn't just tithe anymore, it was now I should give them money. So it went on to a situation where I couldn't bear it anymore. So I spoke to my husband and I told him all this money issue. Now it's not more out of willingness, it's out of force, and I'm not really in support. Because what I saw in this whole thing was a bit of manipulation. It went so worse to the point that my husband had to sell everything that we owned. He wanted to satisfy the pastor to the point that our children have to suffer and life was never improving for us, or it was decreasing for us. My husband tells me, you are cursed by the pastor. Even the children, they could see what their father was doing. So it's not just to say it's the mother who could see this, but it went to the point the children said, Mommy, it's okay, let's move, leave him, we will move on with life, let daddy be. Concerning my husband, it went to a point of he doesn't even communicate with us, neither myself or the children. Namibians, be wise. Any pastor that tells you your mother or father is a demon, cut off. Any pastor that call you for money and you are in fear, cut off. Any pastor that calls you, if you say no to me, you are under a curse, I believe cut off. Because God have never called pastors to be cursing people, but have called pastors to share the gospel.